Hi, I'm Anupam Kamal Sen. I'm here with Kwok Ng, presenting a design and behavior change course and referring to how UDL principles are employed in course activities. As Kwok has already mentioned, I'm going to discuss an overview of individualized education plan and then provide two examples of exercises in the course where UDL principles have been applied. So first, before inviting you to look at our individualized education plan for this course, I will say what IEP means and how IEP functions. You see that IEP is more than a written plan, actually. It creates opportunities for teachers, students, parents, support personnel, and school or university administration to work together to make an effective education plan for the learners who have needs. Therefore, to create an effective IEP, a combined effort from all respective parties is required. So now that said, I will show the IEP made for the behavior change course students. Uh, the proposed IEP here has six objectives to achieve, and each of the tasks involves support personnel such as student coordinator, postdoctoral researchers, language communication expert, and the university psychologists. The tasks in IEP, if you see here, that it ranges from setting linguistic goals to assessing the diverse needs of the learners. For example, we can see at least one task, its objective, and the persons involved making this task possible. If you see that there is the second task that it sets linguistic goals and objectives, and what is the objective here? The objective of this task is to address the needs of vocabulary, set specific examples of subjective vocabs and terminologies. And who are the support personnel in this task? There are two support personals. One is a course instructor and the language teacher. So as I have already said that an effective IEP is actually made uh, uh, as a combined effort. Okay, if teachers and others other involved parties work together, then they can create an effective IEP. And if we just look at the third task here, which is a weekly test and preparing progress reports, and you see that the evaluation report can be processed by the teacher and submitted to the student coordinator. So here also, student coordinator and teacher working together. So that's the IEP. If you just look, there are six tasks and which has individual objectives and different support persons involved. And the next thing is the example of course activity, which is like here, if you look in this course, there are two example course activities that will incorporate universal learning design principles. The first one is pair matching activity, if we want to say. Students will look at the statements on the paper and then match one with the other. So this is the first activity. So the statements on the paper uh, will refer to two types of approaches. One is the effective and another one is ineffective. I think we need to somehow explain this further. If you see there is a column which in one column it's the right effective approaches and other it is ineffective approaches. So how this task could be done. So as we have planned, teachers will give students small papers, individual approaches written on each of them. The task of the student is to match the pairs. They will select which approach goes to which block or category. For example, we can see that there is multimodal pathways or one pathway. Uh, so if students get these two approaches in their hands, they will then decide which one is the effective approach and which one is not Here you can see the table where effective and ineffective approaches are separated. So I need to say that this activity can be replicated by teachers in other courses as well. And and here comes the second activity. In the second course activity, there are 16 BCT taxonomy groups. Students on the course need to find out which of the taxonomy groups are relevant to their planned intervention and drill further into the taxonomy to choose which one is particular, which ones in particular need acting upon for the intervention design. So about this second activity, the first thing that comes to my mind and also to our mind is what is exactly a BCT taxonomy? I mean, behavior change technique taxonomy. So BCT taxonomy is a promising tool for behavior change interventions. Intervening to enable learners to change self-management behaviors is the main goal of BCT. To speak more on it, behavior change interventions tend to be complex and consist of many different active ingredients working within the one intervention. It can therefore be difficult to pinpoint the individual active ingredients that are being used in order to change behavior. As a result, the behavior change technique taxonomy was developed to provide a shared, standardized terminology to be used to specify the active ingredients of behavior change interventions. And also the BCT, I mean, the behavior change technique is a reliable taxonomy which consists of 93 unique techniques that are categorized into 16 groups. We have already mentioned in this course activity that there are 16 BCT taxonomy groups, and the students will find out which of the taxonomy groups are relevant to their planned intervention. And yes, and this taxonomies are the active ingredients of a behavior change intervention. They're observable, replicable, and irreducible. So these BCTs are specific, with each with their own individual label and definition that can be used when designing and reporting interventions. So now let us look at how these two course activities are going to apply UDL principles. Before showing that, I better say a few words about UDL. So it means universal universal design for learning, which is actually a framework to improve and optimize the teaching and learning for all people based on scientific insights into how humans learn. Actually, it's a way of thinking about teaching and learning that helps to give all students an equal opportunity to succeed. So we have to remember that there are three main principles, the three main UDL principles. So one is engagement, then representation, and the last one is expression. And now I will show that how these two course exercises that I have already mentioned and explained do follow and implement this three UDL principles. So if we just look at the first exercise here, if you see multiple means of engagement, how this first exercise, I mean, which is pair matching activity, it employs the first UDL principle, which is engagement. So in three ways it does that. First one is the individual choice and autonomy. That means the task has options to choose from, and this optionality gives a sense of autonomy to students. It's a goal and objective based task, and it facilitates, and the activity facilitates personal coping skills and strategies. As it is an individual task, so it will develop students' intrapersonal skills. They will learn strategies for this task. And also the category of representation, how it is employed here. You see that the task, the activity offers ways of customizing the display of information, because the teachers will give students the visual information, which can be customized according to the needs of the students. And the task can activate background knowledge, because if the students, if the learner wants to uh, perform in this activity, they must have some background knowledge which is activated through this task. And the third category is the action and expression. If you see that, as I've already said, that it's a practice and performance-based task. So this task ensures the performance of the students, and students learn through this task how to manage different information and resources, because it's all about uh, uh, information, and which must be managed by the students in different ways. And let's look at the second exercise and how this exercise incorporates UDL principles within its practice. So the same way, the engagement, multiple means of engagement, in which way you say that it optimizes this relevance, value, and authenticity. The task allows the students to find out which taxonomic groups are relevant to their planned intervention. So this helps students to explore authentic information from a variety of choices. So students, learners can find out which one is relevant information, valuable information, and which is authentic to their needs. And about representation, the same. It's customizing the display of information. If you say that there's a visual information, like the previous task, which can be customized according to needs. And also, like the previous task, it also activates background knowledge. And in the third category, which is action and expression, these tasks give students to follow a variety of methods while they are completing the tasks. Uh, and also, this task suppose the skills of planning and strategy development. And the third way is that students learn how to manage different information and resources. So if you just look, two exercises have many things in common while they're applying UDL principles within them. So, so this is the part of my presentation. So thank you all for listening me. Here I will end, and Kwok will just take over from here, and he will say some more words on UDL activity, and then conclude our presentation. Thank you very much.